Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we're reviewing Transformers Studio Series 86, Commander Class, Longhaul, and Hook. This is the 2-pack combiner team that we got about, I want to say, a year ago? Which is crazy to say, because it does not feel like that long, but I do believe it's been about a year since this figure is officially released. And to say the least, it's quite nice. I like it. These alt modes are honestly really nice looking. Obviously, if we take all the combiner kibble and stuff here out of the equation, you can definitely see just how these figures look much more. Honestly, these figures look great. And also the reason why I'm taking this out is because there's no base configuration. This is all kibble just for the combiner. And I think I mentioned this, we don't really go over this stuff until the combiner's video. So for now, you'll stay off to the side. So we'll be moving that out. Now, looking at the two figures by themselves, they look great. Honestly, I love how these guys look. The colors are nice. The purples on Hook look great. The blacks look, honestly, I guess it's not really black, it's more of a charcoal. The charcoal coloring filling in some of the purple aspects that we get on the rest of the combiner team look lovely. We still have the purple windows here and, little accents of purple here and there. But for the most part, Longhaul, I think, is our main guy that doesn't use purple, which is pretty cool. One of the main reasons why I prefer Longhaul out of most of the Constructicons is the fact that he introduces this charcoal black into his design. And you'll see more of that in the robot mode, but I do like how it's different. I believe he's the only major user of that color, because everyone else kind of has like charcoal black on the head, the wheels obviously, and maybe some accents here and there. Longhaul uses it on his arms, a bit of the chest as you see here. It's more incorporated into his design than it would be for the others, so I like that a lot. Looking at Hook here, Hook is your average crane. For example, let's bring in like Road Hauler here. Hook is slightly shorter than Road Hauler, but is much more dense. This figure feels really dense. Real solid feeling, Giving it a shake test, nothing wants to come off. I give this a shake test. That happens. So, that's lovely. It's cool though, I like it, it's neat. I got no major complaints there. Looking at the overall design of Hook though, it's quite nice. We have some back rear end lights, some headlights out here, picked out in silver. The purple windows and just overall purple accents here, like here. Parts of the combined mode popping up here. Underside is relatively clean. Obviously, visible head syndrome as usual. Longhaul also suffers from that. Hi Longhaul! But, yeah. Overall, the figures are really good, though. If we bring Longhaul's trailer in, you get a feel for where the rest of the budget went, as this is all just filled in plastic. It's all just there. It's rather solid. But it also gives him a lot of length, too, for, I guess, just overall hand feel. If we compare Longhaul and Hook together, they're almost exactly the same size, with this trailer being about the size of the Voyager class Constructicons, and it being much bigger than your deluxe Constructicons. Comparing these all together, though, looks nice. The trailer doesn't really do anything outside of be a trailer until you start the Devastator stuff. So we aren't really going to go over this much longer besides size comparisons, which we will get into right now. So, for our first set, we'll bring in Deluxe Class Wheeljack, which is about a little shorter than Longhaul in truck mode. Pulling him out, we bring in Road Hauler, who is longer than Longhaul, as Longhaul and Hook are about the same size. So yeah, that's to be expected. We'll bring in 86 Sludge, put him on top of Longhaul, and that just gives us a kind of a good feel. a good feel for the overall size of Longhaul's trailer. From trailer to cab to the very edges, not Longhaul, Sludge is just a bit longer on this side and a bit longer on this side because of the chin. Then obviously, if we move that out, then that's a whole different story there. We'll take that out of here, grab you, bring in the other 86 Commander, Optimus Prime, put Longhaul up here. Okay, thanks a lot, buddy. Snag these. Well, I mean, the size comparison was there for a second, but let's get Longhaul and Hook up here then. There you go, good enough. Longhaul definitely has a lip over Optimus Prime's trailer now, so, that's there. It looks lovely. Wow. It looks good, though. It's a good size. I got no major complaints there. Let's get all these figures put back and out of the way. Get you back in the middle. And we'll go over each figure's transformation individually, since that could make it a little messy. Also, sorry if my voice kept changing there. I had to scoot my chair back. Don't know why, but my chair has this weird thing where it just starts sliding back. I'm not sure if my room's at a slant. Not enough of a slant to make these want to roll on their own, but enough of a slant to where some of my things very slowly start sliding. Now, to the figures. We'll transform Hook first, as he is probably the less enjoyable out of the two. His transformation isn't bad, but it's nothing really new to me, as his transformation's extremely similar to the Combiner Wars one, if not exactly. So, first thing you want to do is come to the side of the crane's arm, which is, I did mention this, the crane's arm is articulated. It swivels, it bends up, and it's extendable, like this. And the hook obviously moves. Now, back to transformation. You want to come to the side, take off the gun. There's a 3mm port on the side of the gun that goes into this peg. We just take that off, toss it to the side. It's your generic, blaster. Looks nice though. It's Blast-to-Fetch compatible, so that's great. And the scope, well, is a scope. What else is there to be said? Looks nice though. Now, for first step of transformation, I think, yeah, you want to lift this up a bit so you have proper clearance to come back here and pull upward like this. Then shift up these back ends and collapse it over. There's slots right here and here that go into the little tabs right here and here, like so. Then you want to come to the sides of the alt mode, pull out the arms and shift them downward. Come to the underside right here, pull these outward like so. Flip down the feet, bring those outward or straighten them out and down. Take this back end of the front, or I guess the front cab, shift it outward and down as well. Have them kind of clip over the silver parts of the shins. Split the legs, and then kind of just adjust the backpack to however you like. You want these up, you can have them up. They just look awkward like that, so I don't. But that's it. Grab his gun, give it to him. There we go. And that's it for Hook. Looks great. Looks decent. He looks decent. Next up is my favorite transformation out of all these figures. Well, second favorite. Mixmaster still smokes this guy. But my second favorite transformation of these figures is Longhaul's. First thing you want to do, take the gun. The gun is also two pieces, by the way. But the ports are keyed, so you can't really use this piece on anything else. So, yeah. Looks nice, though. I like the colors. This is also a differentiation from the rest of their guns, because all their other guns don't have any green on them, while Longhaul's does. But that's also for combined mode, so that's why it looks like that. Now, first thing you want to do, come to this piece here, put your thumb here, and just push. This is going to unlock everything here. You want to flip it around, and then apply some pressure. That's going to tab that all in, like so. And you can just untab it like that, too. Next thing you want to do is come down here. We're going to want to then unlock his knees, like this. So now his knees are unlocked. You want to flip out these heels. My copy, this heel's a little looser than I want it to be, but just kind of how it is. Straighten all these out. Then you can separate. Adjust the ankles however you'd like. Next thing you want to do is come to the side of the alt mode here. just kind of untab everything here and pull upward and out. There's a slot right here. If it wants to focus, we are getting the light back. Get ready for blindness. Ooh, there you go. Okay, so there's a slot right there. There is a slot right there that goes into this tab. If you had trouble understanding what I was saying, there's a slot right here that goes into this tab right here. I have to hold this, so that's fun. There you go. But basically what I'm trying to say is slot right here underneath elbow, tab right there. They'll go into each other for this mode. Same thing you want to do on this side, just untab it and pull out. Then shift up the shoulders. Then you want to take this piece, when it's like this, just flip it forward till it locks in. Like that. Flip out the hand, straighten out the elbow. Same thing on the other side, just like this. Just leave the arms like this, because we're just going to fold this whole cab piece down. But before we do that is we take the top of the cab, lift it upward, lift it back, collapse it like this, then pop open the front of the cab, like so, then collapse everything downward. Then close that up, take this, flatten it out, and give Longhaul his gun. And as I was saying earlier, this is loose, so... Oh no, yeah, it is coming down. But yeah, there's Longhaul and Hook. Longhaul does definitely look a little stubby with just how his arms look, but it's overall very appealing to look at. Hook, on the other hand, is very spindly looking, very skinny, very kind of the opposite of Longhaul here. And I also like that. I like when we have characters that look kind of opposing to each other, but are on the same team. It's kind of that one villain dynamic. We have the plump, kind of rotund minion, goon, you know. I probably shouldn't say goon. That has a whole different meaning nowadays. Never mind. Just like minion troop, basically. Then we have the skinny, thin one. That's like the conniving bastard, you know. And, you know, there he is. I need to quit stuttering. They look lovely, though. I like the colors. I like the pops of gray, green, purple, red on this guy. Honestly, I like the silver. I think this is one... Looking at the rest of the team, actually. This is the only one that has this much silver on this No, never mind. We got a bunch of silver on this guy. Thighs and chest plate. While all the silver is is molded in silver plastic for the thighs, painted silver for the shins, and then molded silver for the feet. That looks lovely. Then obviously the hubcaps are silver, that's to be expected. Oh, I forgot to mention, these figures are all pinned wheels, by the way. Every single one of the Constructicons have pinned wheels, except for these two, because, you know, they don't have any sort of wheels on them at all. But yeah, every other Constructicon that has wheels, they're pinned wheels. Forgot to mention that, but these figures roll beautifully because of that. Looking at the detailing on Hook, though, we have some beautiful sculpt work here that is also asymmetrical. So we have some asymmetry going here on the shins. Looks great. Looking at the torso up here, we got a bit of asymmetry again, but that's just because of this piece right here being molded in for, I think, the combined mode. Can't remember if this tab plugs into anything. Obviously, this one does right here. That just plugs into the top of Longhaul, you know. That goes in right about here, just like so. Look at that. But that's for a completely different person, so we won't worry about that. One thing I do like is the collar of Hook here. It's not molded in green, which kind of sucks, but it is painted green to kind of give that continuation, and I like that. We also have some molded in tires here on the underside, or not the underside, on the side of Hook's arms here, to give that illusion that the tires are much thicker than they are, kind of like these ones down here, because these ones are definitely much thicker than the ones on the arms. But obviously, if they made them as thick as that, then they'd either be stationary or they'd interfere too much with the figure's mobility. Because, you know, if we had that tire fully through here, this elbow would practically be gone. But it looks nice. I like the attention to detail. And honestly, I might just paint those in myself sometime. Looking at this figure, though, it's quite nice. The backpack's a little ugly, but, you know, if you don't like the Hook, you could just pop it off. Granted, I'm not sure. Does that affect his stability at all? No, not really. He's got big feet, dude. Looking at his feet down here, these things are huge. I do just like the overall look of this figure, though. I know I've said that, I think, a few times already. It looks great. The head sculpt is uniquely blocky, to say the least. The visor looks nice. The silver applications on the face look lovely. And, yeah, kind of it that I have to say for this guy. So, let's get into Longhaul. Looking at Longhaul here. As mentioned, he is my favorite of the figures. He has a very unique head. We have this kind of juggernaut helmet on just a very flat, thick slab of plastic, which honestly I don't mind too much. It still looks really good. The rest of the figure is also uniquely, well, Longhaul. We have arms on the shoulders, which is something that I wish we could have gone with Breakdown, but you know, we didn't, because he had to be a retool of Wild Rider. If we ever get a new Breakdown that's his whole new mold that works with Legacy Motormaster, not Motormaster, Menasor, I would gladly buy that. Gladly. Looking at the rest of the figure, though, he's very smooth. There's not much detailing or panel lining on him, besides these like little greebled parts occasionally sprinkled throughout. A lot of his detailing is reduced. These panels here are just flat. No detailing. Much more in line of the aesthetic of the modern 86 cast. You know, smooth panels, overall just smooth designs. You know, yeah, we get some greebling here. Like if we lift this, or actually if we open this, we get a beautifully painted interior here. And just beautifully sculpted as well. I love how this looks. It's gorgeous. I love that. Looking at the rest of the figure though, you know, we get some nice sculpt work here, all throughout the red here. And I think the main reason why it's all kind of flat is because, well, that's just how the vehicle is. You know, every vehicle's not going to have just a bunch of panels and sculpt work. They're going to have lines, yeah, but it's not going to be exposed as easily. Which, you know, is accurate. I don't think anyone wants to really buy a truck if it's going to have a bunch of these panel lines and a bunch of random greeblings sticking out from it. I mean, unless that's your aesthetic. If that is, good on you, man. But, like, if we're looking at the other parts that aren't as exposed, we have a lot of this nice sculpt work, all this panel lining, kind of technological detailing. We have some of that here, too, on the underside of these wheels. Which, I mean, just look at that. That's cool. Let's see. Looking inside the hollow gaps, there's none in there. Not really surprised, though. Hasbro really just does that if they have extra budget and they don't feel like filling in the hollow gaps. Now the front of the alt mode looks nice. The grille looks great. The overall hood of the alt mode is lovely. Looking at the charcoal part here, it looks nice. The forearms are solid. They use ball joints, which scare me because, as you all know, ball joints do just get loose over time. No stopping it. That's just how ball joints are, which kind of blows. That's also why I don't really like the ball joint system they use for their heads, because those will get loose over time too. Now I gotta go for a moment, so I'll be with you guys in just a moment. Okay, that took longer than expected. Almost a whole hour later. But we're back, so that's good. I can't remember what I was saying about Longhaul. I know it was something about him. I like how he looks. Design feels solid. Besides the biceps being ball joints. And obviously, you know, the head being a ball joint, but that's nothing new with Transformers. The rest of him is really good, though. So I guess with that being said, let's get into the articulation. We'll start with Longhaul, as he's my favorite. So, head can look up that far, down that far, side to side, 360 at the head. Arms can go up that far, all the way around, 360 rotation at the bicep, slightly past 90 at the elbows, no wrist swivel because of how it transforms, no waist swivel. My guess is a stability thing, but none of these guys have a waist swivel. In Hook's case, I understand, but that's fun. Legs can go back this far, forward this far. There's a knee bend right at the legs that's under 90, but you can cheat it with using the original transformation hinge to get a much deeper knee bend like that, all the way to the back of, well, his back. So you can definitely get a much deeper knee bend out of this, which, you know, obviously utilizes all of that. That does mean your knee bend is going to be much higher, though, if you utilize just that one. If you utilize both, though, it looks a little more natural. I think I already said this, but thigh swivel, full 360, and an extreme ankle pivot. But there is sculpt work in here for a more natural ankle pivot. So if you want your basic A stance like this, you can achieve that. But if you want all the way out, you know, like full splits from this fella, then you can also get that doing something like this. So yeah, that's all I have to say about Longhaul for now. So next up is Hook. Hook has a ball joint at the head, looks up that far, down that far, side to side. 360 rotation, though it does get caught because of his little chin pieces there. Lift these parts up, arms can go up that far, all the way up that far. You cannot get a backwards rotation if you have the arms just straight backward, but if you have them out, you can get a rotation just like this. Bicep rotation all the way around, double elbow bend. The gun's in the way of that one. But that's about as far as it goes for the double elbow bend. No wrist swivel due to transformation hinges, no waist swivel because of where a Devastator's head is stored. Legs can go back that far, forward that far, and out that far. 360 rotation at the thigh. Under 90 degrees. There is no way to cheat a double knee bend out of this one, so that's unfortunate. And that is how it is on both legs, so the cab isn't stopping anything. That's just how it is with this figure. And not an extreme ankle pivot, but you do get an ankle pivot nevertheless. And foot does bend because it is on a hinge. And that's just how it works for transformation, just like that. So, with that all being said, that just leaves size comparisons and final thoughts. So, let's get you strained out. Alright. So, first up, we'll bring in 86 Cup. For our average deluxe size, both Hook and Longhaul, I believe, are Voyager scaled, which is to be expected since they're both from a Commander Class 2-pack. I wouldn't expect anything less than such. So that's lovely. Next up is Voyager Class Shockwave, who does have a little bit of height on Hook, but him and Longhaul are pretty close to equal size. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Longhaul and Hook are pretty close to Voyager scale. Shockwave is a shorter Voyager, so that is a touch concerning, actually. But let's snag them out. Bring you guys much more forward as we're bringing in Megatron and Grimlock for our leader class scale. Megatron and Grimlock, just like that. Very good. Just in the camera, just a bit. Looking at the 4 figures together, that's weird to say. I'm used to saying 3. But looking at all these guys together, they look lovely. The colors pop nicely against the grays, the reds and golds from the Autobots and Decepticons. And I just like how much the green pops. It looks really nice, honestly. I like it. Put you guys off to the side. And finally bring in, a fellow Commander Class release, Ultra Magnus. Looking at the 3 together, they look quite nice, quite lovely. And honestly, I'm happy. I could not be happier of how these guys look. They look great. So, yeah. Final thoughts on this set. Obviously, I can't go fully in this set just yet, because, you know, we aren't talking about one of the main reasons why this set's a Commander. But this overall set's really nice. I like it a lot. It feels pretty fair for the price. And honestly, I don't mind it too much. Yeah, does it suck that 2 pretty much Voyagers, 2 Deluxes are in a Commander class box? A little bit. But it's not the worst thing in the world. Oh, man. Throat was dry. I had to drink some water. It's nice, though. I like how they look. Obviously, I wish this whole thing was built in or integrated with these figures better instead of this just being a trailer. But I also don't mind, as this being a trailer allows us to have the best sort of leg system for Devastator right now. And honestly, even G1 Devastator had spare parts. So I can't be too disappointed, though I do like how these parts incorporate. You know, these ones are like missile pods. That's the holes and why there's so many holes. These ones are kind of like swords, I guess, or just really ugly guns. Then this piece right here can be held like a 2-barrel gun. Just like that. So, you know, they have additional uses. Obviously, you can't use this as anything. Maybe you can pretend it's a wall. You know, it is the greatest wall, but, you know, it's nice. The overall set's good, though. I'd recommend it for Devastator, but if you're just looking for a good figure, I'd say try and find a listing for just Longhaul, as he is the superior figure out of these two. Doing his own thing, looking the best, and honestly second to best, just under Mixmaster out of this set of 6, in my personal opinion. I think Bone Crusher would have to be number 3, just because of his compatibility with these, which I will be showing off in Bone Crusher's video. So, expect to see these gauntlets in action. But with that all being said, I'd recommend it. Do not pay past retail for this box set. I'd say Commander's retail is the perfect price for this, with all the stuff you get. Do not pay more. It is not worth more than retail Commander. But because of how integral these guys are to the Commander class, not to Commander class, to the Devastator set, there's most likely going to be listings charging so much more, which I hate, but just kind of how it is right now. I recommend these figures highly, not just because of Devastator, but because Longhaul is a genuine improvement over Combiner Wars in such a way that I have nothing negative to say about him. He's almost perfect. No waist swivel, no wrist swivel. Those are my 2 issues. Besides that, he is actually just a perfect figure. Hook's doing his own thing. Is he perfect? Not by a great margin, no. But he does look decent, and he looks good in a full-scale shot with his Combiner team. So, you know, that's good. But that's about it that I have to say. I'll see you all in the next video. Next video, we'll be reviewing Bone Crusher. Then after that, obviously, Scavenger. Then after that, we'll get into the oh-so-great Devastator, you know? So that'll be fun. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you all take care. See ya!